What's up, guys? I'm Philip Cup, and welcome back to the Roottrees Are Dead. I've been thinking a lot about this game and pretty excited to get back to it. So we made a lot of progress. We have a bunch of pictures. I think today I am going to try to fill in a lot of these photos here. So this picture has a ton of photos of different people from Carl's generation. Getting a bunch of pictures in will kind of help us a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. But we're kind of nearing the end, I think. Because we're hitting a lot of dead ends, and at this point there isn't that much for me to explore that I can think of. So we're gonna try to work on the pictures, and hopefully we can lock in some names, and it'll help us out a little bit. I also remembered now that in one of Lauren's notes, I think it was complaints, she was talking to Gwen, and she said that here, she's the first Roottrees woman to be anything other than a housewife, and I am jealous. So that means that everybody above Gwen, so all the women here, so her, and Angelica, are probably all housewives. That's what I'm thinking. Who's this? We don't know who that is. So that should help us lock in some people. So let's go ahead and try that real quick. Let's do housewife there, and then let's try over here, also housewife. Okay, but now I don't know if that's correct or not, because unless these names are different, Gwendolyn's the oldest one, unless that's not her. Maybe the pictures are wrong. What if I switch the pictures, because we have multiple names out here right now. I'm assuming it should be this. These two might be switched, but I'm not sure yet. It depends on if they have kids or not, which we need to find out. And then, man, there's not a lot of extra pictures for this generation. I guess a lot of them go to here. And then Clark Rafferty, I thought was a musician, but I guess it's not, because I know that's him. While I was editing the last video, I recognize these flowers have the initials of the couples on there, C and J. And so this is, this is not Joan Monroe. I think it is LaRoe. It's Jane. So that's Jane LaRoe. It's because the CJ there. No, wait. Yeah. And then that's Clark. This is Diamond. That's correct. And then that is James. Okay. And then we need another picture, which is probably from that generation. So let's go ahead and take another look there in this one. So we know that that's Carl. And Carl and James or Jim were the similar age. And he had dark hair. So it has to be this guy. I think it has to be him. But he doesn't have a beard. That's the thing. So it's either this guy or this guy. But this guy looks a lot older. And if he's a teenager, it has to be like... It has to be this guy. So let's go ahead and enter that in. I think it's him. Yeah, because it kind of looks like him, doesn't it? And that other guy had... glasses, but we still need to fill out here. These guys weren't there yet. Now we're just getting younger and younger. I know that for Miracle, no, here he has two pictures. So this guy has to be this one right here. And then because this is in Carl's generation, and he's one step above Carl. So he's wearing that tie that's similar to Miracle, his dad. But Miracle is not in this picture. So it has to be this, the hair type and everything. It just all works out. That's Eli. So that means that this is Eli here. So we know his picture is that guy. Because we knew that this was Elias for Elias, but we weren't sure. So what I'm thinking is there's two Eliases, as we know that this is also Elias, here. And we know that because in Lauren's note, which was this one, she says that she wanted Eli to stand all the way to the left since he looks like Pop. This guy right here. Because the four of them were siblings. That's Lauren. So she wanted him to stand over here because he looks like his dad in the old picture. This one. So that's how we know that's Eli. And we know which one Eli is because... Here, I'm going to type it in. Because Eli C and Eli M. C stands for Clancy. Okay? I think that's what it stands for. And then this one is Miracle. So this one has to be Eli M. And he is also... I don't know if he's a preacher or not. So we'll leave that blank for now. But we know that he is a lawyer because he's gonna take over his dad's company whenever he retires. Or was it this guy? Let me look. Oh, right here. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. Okay. So let's go back to the tree. Edward is this guy. Oops. Edward Roottrees. And he is a lawyer. Yes. Makes me nervous because are these names going up? For the person, once you get 3 additional blood relatives in the family tree completely correct, name, occupation, and portrait, they will be locked in. Every time you get 3, so we're striking out. Oops. So a lot of these aren't right then. And now that I think about it, it has to do with the hair types and stuff, right? Because in the pictures, because this is all red, which means that this has to be her, Angelica, and she is a housewife because she was the oldest. Yes, we got 3. All right, let's see what locks in. So we know that the others are wrong. Lawyer, yes, Zachariah, and Angelica. Oh my goodness, look at all these names. Pictures, okay. I think we got all the flower kids correct. Ooh, yeah. All right, let's see. So these are all correct. We know she's... So these pictures must be flipped. Oops, not that one. Here. Which makes sense because if she's like kind of blondish, her daughter would be blonde. But like here, oh, I see it now. Okay. So which means that James Morden must have been like a redhead person. Okay. So now we know that that's there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know, so which means that this guy's not a lawyer. We don't know unknown occupation. But that's his name though. We know that this is the name is correct. The picture has to be correct. We just don't know the occupation, so that's why they're blank. And this one was wrong. But we're so close. Housewife. I think if we get one more, we might be able to lock it in. Lock in 3 more names. So let's go ahead and go here. If this is... So these are twins, and we don't know who's the older one. But once we lock it in, I think we should be good. So let's see if I switch these 2, if it would be... Here. And then this one, let's have it be the boy. And the 3rd president. Just to try it out. Yes! We locked 3 more names. Let's see what we got. Nice. So all the 5 pieces are done. So we're slowly trickling down. Guy Hudson's correct. So now we know that this is his sister. We know that this is Bonnie Hudson. So she's the oldest. In unknown occupation. President. Which one was Lauren? Lauren here. There. Okay. So this is filling out. We're doing pretty good. This left side is almost all done. We need to find out who Bonnie's kids are. Let's look up Bonnie Hudson. No. Okay. All right. We'll leave that branch for now. Oh, wait. Guy Hudson's the third president. I wonder if there's another, because he would have been in the picture in the 70s. This one. So that must be him right here. And his sister. Because that's the era right before Carl, right? No, it's the same as Carl. But I think they look young enough that it could be him. So let's call that him. Because of red hair. And then let's see, let's look at this picture again. I'm not sure who this is. Let's see here. So Carl's there. That has to be Caroline for sure. Because of the way her hair is. Oops. Let's go here. Let's look. Yeah, so that's not her. This is her. That looks exactly like her. And then I wish I can, yeah, there we go. Zoom in a little bit. She looks really upset. Eli. So these are the Miracle's kids. We don't know who she is. But she doesn't look happy. That's weird. We know that's his sister, the twins. That's probably Jim. Because I don't think that would be Jim. This person is way too old. I don't know. But he's wearing glasses. That's the thing. These two are wearing glasses. But we don't know anybody that's wearing glasses yet. Which means that they're probably these two right here. Gwen should have been... No, she's just never there. Oh, but she was at the Paris thing. She's in the Paris picture, so that's her. We know this is William, but we don't know. We don't know what his real name is. Okay, let's go back over here because I think I figured out some things, but we just don't know their names there. This is Jane LaRoe. We know that the Rafferty LaRoe sisters are down here. We don't know who this person is. That's locked in. I don't know who their kid is. This whole branch is still dark. But we should be able to put a face in there based on the picture. So I wonder if this is... No, let's look. Let's look again. The next generation. So we have these two. We know these two are in there. These are all locked in. So we just... Her. This picture. And that has to be Sam. So... Let me look here. So let's go ahead and say this is Sam. Sam Cattrall? Let's look up Sam Cattrall. Did I spell it right? Let's look. Cattrall, yeah. Sam Cattrall. It feels good to finally lock in all the 5 pieces. But we need to find out Margolite Roottrees. But she was a housewife, so she wouldn't be very notable. Damn. We need to start looking into some of these names. Root Elias M. Okay. So since, let me think. If we, who had the architect firm? This guy. So since this guy's an architect firm, or he has an architect firm, he's probably in, this is Elias Jr. Roottrees. He's probably in Business Watch. What was his name again? Elias Jr. Wow, nothing? How about this one? Nothing. Seeing the man, Carl and his second cousin, Ernie Jr. That's the clue. Second cousin. What was that? The note about that? Second cousin, sometimes referred to as distant cousins. People that share the same great-grandparents, but not the same grandparents. Okay. Same great-grandparents. So, not grandparents, same great-grandparents. So they don't share, they're not in the same branch here. So they're in other branches. So that was, who? Who was that? Ernie Jr., who had just become president of Roottrees at the time. Okay, so it has to be the same rank. So it can't be him or these guys. Or him or him. It has to be one of these guys. Ernie Jr. But who's the original Ernie? It wouldn't be down here. It has to be in here somewhere. Maybe that's not right either. Let's look up Ernie Jr. You find an article from December 1995. Root president to take over Roottrees. Due to heart illness, Ernie Jr. is stepping down as president of Roottrees at the start of the second quarter in 1996. His second cousin, Carl, president of sister company Root, and former Watchman of the Year, will take over. It has been 13 years since Ernie was forced to step into the role of president unexpectedly. Back then, not much was known about the man other than his full name. In the years since, he has taken on a bit of a reputation as a real-life Wonka. He's known as a bit eccentric and reclusive, opting to be called simply Ernie Jr., and to forego the typical luxuries of the average Roottrees. But in our estimation, he has been a shrewd businessman with an eye for sweets. Ernie Jr. has led Roottrees to record profits by developing new products, including the ever-popular Maple Crisp, and by spearheading the formation of Root with his cousin in 1982 after learning of Brenda Roottrees' power in the fashion community. Very nice. That's what the person I would be. If I became pretty important, I'd just be an invisible person. Nobody knows about me or even notices you. Carl was mentioned in the Butler County Times quite often, including an article that also mentions Ernie Jr. Most of the articles concerning Carl are not important. The plane crash is too recent to appear in these archives. One announces Carl's marriage to Brenda White in 1978. They were both in their early 20s. Another seems even more frivolous. Apparently, in 1981, Carl got quite drunk at a charity event and broke his arm falling down some stairs. Carl knew how to party. The article that also mentions Ernie is from 1996, when Carl took over as the 5th president of the Roottrees Candy Company from Ernie Jr. Ernie Jr. apparently liked to stay out of the spotlight and never appeared in the Butler County Times other than a few mentions here and there. The article does not mention an illness as the reason Ernie Jr. was stepping down. What a mysterious guy. I think the clue is Ernie Jr. Well, we just can't pinpoint it down. Are we done with this one? Oh, yeah. Let's search online for WRTD again. Plane crash. Psychologist. No break-in. Someone with a key. A comment below the article says, "Don't believe their lies. This is just another instance of the Roottrees curse." So that's when you look into that, and it's just a bunch of conspiracy theories. I bet you Carl was murdered and the picture had evidence on it. So we need to look at that. So let's see. Oh, but that's a conspiracy though. We don't know if that's true or not. But let's look at the photos. I think it was 70s, right? That's right. Let's go look at this again. Here to report. Here. 70s, yep. A photo of Carl's generation taken in the mid to late 1970s. So it's this one. Something on here might have had something to do with the accident. On the back of the photo, in childish print writing, it says November. No, wait. It says in childish print writing, it says November. Let's look up names. Because it's the little girl, right? Let's look at this one. November. Right here, November Roottrees. So we know that little girl's name is November, but we don't know what it is. November Roottrees. Doesn't come up with anything. Dang it, another dead end. No, I wouldn't be here. Let's go here. Butler County, November Roottrees. Nothing. We know her name now, but guess it's childish print writing, but we don't know where she goes in the tree. Is she holding hands here? Let's look. No, she's holding something though. Cotton candy? I thought they were holding hands, but they're not. And she also looks kind of mixed. So here's the thing. If she's part of Carl's generation, based on the diagram, you would have to go like down here. Something's not right there. That's someone's kid. Like that's all, like the whole family. So it has to be up here somewhere. I'm not sure. Let's go back. Well, we know her name now. We didn't get Guy yet. So this has to be Guy because he's supposed to be the next president, right? Jim Roottrees. Probably that guy. Clark. That's Clark. That's Clark for sure. Because he was the same. Yeah. That's definitely Clark. Where's he? That guy right there. That's definitely Clark. So if that's Clark, then this has to be Guy Hudson. We don't know who she is. You know, that's Caroline. We don't know who Gwyneth M is, do we? And Gwendolyn. Oh, let's look at these kids. They all have black hair. That's the thing. Nobody in here really has black hair. Oh, for like the women. So maybe I'll say Gwendolyn is here. It would be her. So that's a clue right there that they're musicians, artists, or dancers. And then she said, my brothers all pursue paths of knowledge. And the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Because they were racist back then. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. That's it. Edward is here. Bam. That's November. She's still single. And at this time, these guys have kids. So we don't exactly know what she's doing. But now we know that Edward married someone that was mixed or not white. Yeah, his sister's a housewife raising her twins. So did we lock that in? We did. Yep. Damn, I thought we could lock in another thing. This mainly talks about Gwen Starlet. Let's look that up. Oh, we got a new periodical. Nice. Starlet was a magazine that started with the colorization of film and went until about 1964. Generally, it was a tabloid with a focus on famous actors and actresses. It didn't go into any other aspects of filmmaking or Hollywood news. Let's go to periodicals now. We got a new one, Starlet, and let's look up Gwen. Because that's obviously the other one, the main one. Gwen Roottrees was often in Starlet. Most mentions were around the time of her divorce in 1958 from Wild Bill Williams. The gossip is speculative and full of tabloid stereotypes. Some of it focuses on the fact that when she announced her divorce, she was also announced she was pregnant again. Other mentioned that the rumor is Wild Bill had multiple affairs, which left her heartbroken. Dang, what scum. There's also an interview from earlier in mid-1957 where she was asked about her last name. She answered, "The power of my name is undeniable. My grandfather constantly preached the importance of family names and honoring them. My father decided to bless me with a famous name. There's nothing wrong with Cornwall, but Roottrees has power. My husband simply goes by Wild Bill. It's an infamous name he repurposed for himself because he didn't have the benefit of being born with a famous one. But Wild combined with the alliteration Williams is incredibly memorable." So wait, there's nothing wrong with Cornwall. Okay, let me look at it here. That's her dad's name, right? Cornwall. So let me look up Cornwall. Linus. But Roottrees has power. My husband simply goes by Wild Bill. Combined with the alliteration Williams. What's an alliteration again? It's an infamous name he repurposed for himself. Yes, although we've relocated to Paris, I know your readers love to keep up with my husband. So consider this a Starlet exclusive about both of us. Wild Bill and I have a child on the way, and we're sticking with Roottrees for the last name, not Williams. But we also plan to lean into alliteration. That's how we honor both of our family names for the next generation. Oh, alliteration is just the same sounding of words, like Wild Williams, like at the very beginning. It's like the same letters or same consonants, same sound. So Wild Williams. So that means, okay, let me see. Roottrees for the last name. So that's her boy's last name. But we don't know which one's older. So let's look at the list of names real quick. We know that they're gonna go with alliteration and they're gonna be Roottrees. So it has to be R, right? Robert and Ronald. Okay, let's look it up. Next generation. Better search. Ronald Roottree. Okay. What was the other one? Ronald and Robert. So now let's look up. Wild Bill Williams was mentioned many times throughout the magazine's lifespan, with stories and gossip about who he had been seen in public, blondes mostly. 3 specific passages stand out. The first mentions one of his roles under his real name, Walter Forsythe. Done. That's his name. Bam. Okay. And then go here. Oh, nope. The second is an interview. Although he doesn't mention her by name, you determine from context he's talking about Gwen Roottrie. An apology to all the ladies, I'm actually taken. Earlier this year, I did a friend a favor. He was directing a war movie and asked me to play a small part. Wouldn't you know it, that son of a bitch cut me from the picture. I'm just ribbing. It wasn't his fault. Apparently the studio didn't want to pay for a star of my caliber. I got the last laugh though. I met someone. She spent most of the film crying. She was playing a soldier's wife. But even through the tears, she was incredible. I know I tend to have a reputation, but this one's true love. I only have eyes for her. Ironically, the third is a rumor that his divorce from Gwen was due to multiple affairs, including one with another actress. An American reader on vacation in Paris claims to have overheard Wild Bill and Gwen arguing in public while she was holding a baby and visibly pregnant. Not long after, Gwen announced she was divorcing Wild Bill and also that she was pregnant again, giving this rumor more credibility. Dang, you scumbag. Where is it? Copy that. I think we looked this up last time and it didn't come up with anything. Lauren Roottrie. Or it would be Lauren. Okay. So I think it would be under Rafferty. Because she wrote the book afterwards. So out of print, no copies. Oh, X marks the spot. No copies available. Re-release as X marks the spot. Copy. What? Pretty. Let's try Roottrie again. There we go. According to the back of the book, this is a buried treasure by Lauren Roottrie and from the author of the Court series. Oh, we gotta look that up too. It also says to keep an eye out for Lauren Roottrie's next book, Revisiting the Diary 10 years later, releasing in 1975. There we go. That's gonna give us a ton of information. Revisiting the Diary. Oh my god. This is what we needed right here. Yes. Scandal. Diary. Sam. Clark. Oh my god, there we go. This is huge. This was a version of Lauren Roottrie's diary released in 1975. Unlike the original diary, it contains no pictures, but has many new passages that reflect on her thoughts 10 years later. One major event happened between the releases that changed Lauren's outlook on certain subjects. The death of Elias, a summary of the fallout has been added to your notes, as well as some of other select pages. Oh, hell yeah. Where is it? Nice. Oh, okay, so it's the same picture. The new diary opens with an explosive incident that happened in the decade between the release and re-release of Lauren's diary. Elias Roottree had died, and during the reading of his will, there was an audible gasp when a certain name was read aloud. Samantha Roottree. Although Sam and her children were not meant to receive monetary inheritance, he had a stipulation that she retained the rights to run the farm and any and all decisions related to it. It was then that the scandalous secrets came out. None of the 5 pieces were surprised, but it was quite a shock to everyone else, including Sam. She had been told that her parents died. Apparently, Sam was the illegitimate daughter of Elias Jr. and Patricia Christensen. I thought, Patricia, the daughter, like, did they marry? Let me look. Here. Oh, Patricia Christensen. Okay, so it says they married though. So illegitimate daughter. So this is Samantha. That's Sam. Samantha Roottrees. And it doesn't tell us what she was. Patricia, the daughter of a local street mogul, and Eli Jr. harbored a secret romance at age 16. She became pregnant, and after the birth, her father refused to let her see Eli Jr. ever again. Her baby, Samantha, was sent to the Roottrees. Elias hid her away with a local farmhand known as EC. Patricia was married off to a much older man and sent away. Damn. That was the end of that, almost. So oh, damn. None of the next gens had ever met or heard of Patricia until she unexpectedly reappeared, now going by Patsy. After Patsy's husband died, and she reunited with Eli Jr., and they finally married in their 50s. What a happy ending. Lauren mentioned the wedding in her first diary without knowing Patsy's history. Eli Jr. had never taken another lover. Lauren, ever the romantic, quite appreciated this. Very nice. With Patsy and Eli Jr. finally married, Elias decided Sam should have been a Roottries in the first place. Even though she was not part of the Clans's trust, he wanted to include her in family affairs. That was what led to Lauren's initial entry entitled Sam. That's awesome. So let's read this next page. This is a page of additional notes and context from the 1975 10-year anniversary re-release of Lauren's diary. It is a companion piece to the entry about Sam. Clearly, I did not know our true family history when I wrote this. I didn't even know Sam was a Roottries. All of my doubts were ill-founded. She's a fine woman. Had she the chance to grow up with us, Sam might have been the sister figure Gwen never was. Ernie and the kids are lucky to have her, and her children seem eager to help the family in their own ways. Ernie Jr. has been learning the day by today from Zach. It's been a long time since any real Roottries was as excited and interested in the actual candy as Ernie. As a bonus, Gwyneth has the green thumb of her mother and her adopted grandfather. Okay, so we need to process this, but I think she married, let me look, Ernest Metzen. Yeah. And then they had Ernest Jr. as their first kid. We're not gonna have a picture of him. And she was a housewife. No, it wouldn't be a housewife. It has to be something else. Unknown. Let's keep reading. Ernie Jr. has been learning the day-to-day from Zach. Okay. Because they are similar in age, right? Zach here. Here. Oh no, Ernie here. Ernie learning. Yeah, okay. Oops. No, that's right. It's here. As a bonus, Gwyneth has the green thumb of her mother and her adopted grandfather. Her grandfather's adopted? What I'm most ashamed of is not figuring it all out myself. Sam's a spitting image of Patsy with her jet black hair and green eyes. She doesn't have the thick glasses Patsy did, of course, but I guess that skips a generation. Her children have that covered. We know who it is. This is that guy, and this is her. Because they match the thick glasses. Oh, and he was the second president. Or not the second. He was what is Carl? He's the president before Carl, fourth, so he's the fourth president. Carl was the fifth, so he's the fourth. Damn, I thought it would lock in or something. Because I think, okay, that might be wrong. We don't know hers. 1, 2. No, that's wrong. These we don't know. Okay, so we really only have 2 names, but I think these are correct. Let's go back to evidence. Gwyneth has the green thumb of her mother. What I'm most ashamed of, okay, we did that. It's hard to explain the look on Pop's face when they read that the farm's operations would pass to Samantha Roottrees for as long as she was willing. I got flashbacks to when Zach was made president. Mother reframed it a bit to calm him down. Sam wouldn't receive any candy money, after all, and was essentially inheriting the right to rule over the peasants for eternity. That's messed up. Ooh. Okay. Pop warned us away from that farm for years. I never met EC in person, but Pop once referred to him a confirmed bachelor, and I suspect that's why he kept us from there. Sam had to grow up in a house with him and his roommate, Mr. Miller. EC. Oh, so she probably had like some abuse or something with EC and Mr. Miller. I'm not sure Sam will ever forgive Uncle Junior or Patsy for abandoning her to that life. If I were her, I might never forgive them either. But even so, she seems to blame more than just the two of them. She has no problems with us next gens, but she always has a palpable hatred for the Five Pieces and Elias and Gwyneth. I mean, that's understandable. They were in a time when things were pretty racist. Yeah, that's all that I can process from here now. Let's go to Clark. This is the page from additional notes and context from the 1975 10th anniversary re-release of Lauren's Diary. Okay, we already said that. Reading this back, I get deja vu. As I write this addendum, Clark's gotten married again. No Roottrees has ever remarried. Sure, I lost Jacob, and Gwen divorced Wild Bill just before she had her second. Not even I can blame him for that. I've seen what he gets up to in Starlit, but neither of us ever took a second husband. With the way the world is moving, I guess it was inevitable someone in his family would remarry. I just wish it wasn't my son. I can only wonder if Clark's apparent disrespect for marriage is due to the lack of a real father. I did what I could, and Lord knows Eli C. stepped up and helped. More than I can say for Clancy or Edward. That sucks. That sucks to be a single mom and try to, she's just doing her best. And she said Eli C. stepped up more than Clancy and Edward. So that's also awesome that her brother was able, he also did his best to kind of steer Clark in the right direction. And I think it's just more of the times. It depends on the situation, but I think I can't really blame Clark for all that stuff. I think it just depends on the situation. Now, if he was like, wow, Bill, then it'd be his fault. Eli C. practically raised Clark and Jim as brothers whenever he could. Eli's marriage seems fine, and Jim's marriage seems solid as a rock. So who knows what causes these things? So wait. Eli C. raised Clark and Jim, so his son had to be Jim, right? What? No, here. Oh, okay, yeah. I was looking at the wrong tree. So yeah, that makes sense. We already got that filled out. Eli's marriage seems fine, and Jim's marriage seems solid as a rock. Okay. I suspect that he's marrying Jane to keep her from running out on the band. Without her, he'd be the third wheel. And I imagine they wouldn't last long as a trio, but still, I don't think a marriage on such a shaky foundation like that can last. And Lord knows I was right last time. Oh my god, marrying someone for business pretty much. We're talking about like in here somewhere. Which means that he probably had a kid. I don't know. That's rough. Read that. The biggest complaint I got from after publishing my diary was how many similar names there are. And I get it. There are 4 Elis for Pete's sake. But that's how it is. Someone would say, I saw Eli in town. And I wouldn't know which one they meant. My brother, my uncle, my cousin. That's why they became Uncle Junior, or Miracles Eli, or Eli C. Our family's names were always unusual. Grandpa Elias was a believer in using the names of each generation to honor those in the last. His father and Grandma Gwyneth's father were named Edward and Clancy. So now you see where my pop's name came from. One thing that always been consistent in our family though is that anytime someone's a junior, they're always the firstborn son. That goes for Miracle, Eli, or even Clancy. With the women, however, it all goes out the window. I think Gwendolyn got her name from some combination of Gwyneth and Caroline. Who was Elias's mother? Women's names tend to get all mixed up as the generations went on. I guess that's because there's no female equivalent of Junior. Gwendoline. Okay, Gwyneth and Caroline. That makes sense. Nancy Jr., his firstborn son, makes sense. So he's there. This guy's here. So the names in the pictures are correct. We just need the occupation. Miracle Jr., yeah. Miracle Jr. the third. That's right. Okay. I think it all works out. Next one. Apparently, oh wait, what's this? Fun bonus. Apparently, this is the first thing she could find that she ever wrote. She knows it was for a school assignment about anger. And she believes, based on the teacher's name, she must have been in 3rd grade. She doesn't exactly remember the events spelled out here, but she does remember getting in trouble. I got angry when I met a new girl who I do not like. She was dirty and did not have a pretty dress. Me and Pop walked home in town and she hugged him. When I told her he was my Pop, she pushed me. I got angry and yelled at her, and Pop said to treat her nice. Then she said, "Your Pop is my dad." She screamed it loud in my ear. She was lying to me, and lying is not a nice thing. So I pushed her away too. Then I got in trouble. Then Pop took her away. He told me, "Don't worry, I am glad she is gone." This one's weird, but there has no clues to it. Angers. What's titled Anger? And she was young. So it's saying that, talking about another girl that hugged Clancy Edward. So very, very weird. Campaign mailer. Wow. 6 clues in this still? Okay, we'll have to look at that next time. I think we got a huge pack of evidence that kind of helped us out, kind of fill in the blanks of what we knew was happening. We knew that was Sam. I think this picture's done. We got all the names out there. We need to still fill out all of this, but it's easier now because we know that these are Sam's kids, these two. And then that's the guy. And so whoever this is probably her. And she is probably a housewife. When in doubt, just assume they're a housewife. Nope. Otherwise, it'll be right. I'm going to end this episode here. This thing is getting filled out. Oh my god. We're finally filling out this tree that's been empty for so long. And all these names are getting locked in slowly. We just need to really review the evidence again. And hopefully we can get some more new stuff to review. But judging by how even this is all laid out now, I think this is all the evidence that we can find. Probably need to look into evidence and maybe visit some more periodicals and books to give us some more information. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully we can solve this in the next one. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider leaving me a like and subscribe if you want to. It helps me out. And I will see you guys in